Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Happy holidays. It's the end of the year. I know a lot of people are coming up with their lists, top 10 movies, bottom 10 movies. I really don't like making lists. I hate it, but I wanted to do something different. I know a lot of people's lists are going to look the same. It's going to be Barbie, Oppenheimer, Godzilla Minus One is up there, maybe a John Wick or Holdovers, Past Lives. You can't forget Spider-Man, maybe the Turtles movie. So I like when people tell me that they watched something I suggested. So these are 10 things I think you should check out. Movies, TV shows on different streaming services. Thank you again for a great year. Happy holidays. Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Khaleel Ward. And I forgot to mention, this is not in any order. But let's talk about Kazazimoto, Generation Fire. It's a Disney Plus series. It's 10 episodes. It's an anthology series. Reminds me of Star Wars Visions. However, this is sci-fi in future Africa. All the stories take place in future Africa. They're like 15 minutes. And there are different art styles in each episode. The stories don't connect, so you can watch it in any order. And I haven't heard enough people talk about it. I thought it was really, really dope. There's a story about a mom and son with racing. There's another story about a grandma and grandson about surfing and overcoming your fears to get back in the water. There's an episode about social media that it's so relevant and it just made perfect sense. There's some episodes where it's just action-packed. There are some calm episodes. There are some episodes where it's just giving you a message. And it's incredible. I hear a lot of people talk about Star Wars Visions. I didn't see a lot of people talking about this particular show. And I think you should check it out. It's a beautiful show with a beautiful message. It's great seeing future Africa and all the different technology. I had a blast watching it. Kazazimoto, Generation Fire, Disney Plus. Check it out. It's dope. Go in knowing this movie is over the top. Like, it's an over the top action thriller Bollywood movie. It's called Paton. Came out in January. It was my first Bollywood experience, especially in the theater. It's on Prime Video right now. He's an agent. He puts together this team of soldiers forced to retire due to injury or traumas, but they still want to help their country. And they have to track down this guy named Jim. Jim turns out to be like a former agent himself, and he wants to release a deadly virus. Stuff we've seen before in movies. But the action in this is just ridiculous. Like, when we meet Paton, he is captured, and then he ends up sliding down the blades of a helicopter. That's how over the top it is. There is a couple of dance sequences in this particular movie. That's what they do. If you watch RRR and they had the dance thing in there, they have that in this movie. So just be ready for it. Apparently this movie is a part of some spy universe that they have. I watched this, but I haven't seen any other ones. It's a particular character that shows up in the theater that I was in. They went crazy for this guy, and I was like, who is this? But apparently he's in other series. Anyway, it's over the top. It's action-packed. Check it out if you're just looking for some action in your life. This is the movie for you. And if you watch this is a bonus. If you watch this and you enjoyed it, check out Jawin. It's on Netflix. It stars the same guy, but it's not in the same universe. It's a different movie. And that one is over the top as well with some really cool dance numbers. But if you're looking for action, this is the movie to check out. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm glad I watched this show. It's called The Continental. It's on Peacock. 3 episodes. They're an hour and 20 minutes each at least. John Wick is not present in this show. Just, temper expectations. It starts in the 1970s. We follow Winston. This is how Winston Scott got involved in this underground world that we learned about in John Wick. His bro Frankie is deep in the world. Winston, on the other hand, is not. He's overseas doing his own thing. His brother works at the Continental. Some things happen. Winston has to come back and save him. And eventually wants to take down the Continental. Winston is not a fighter. he's not a fighter at all. He gets into like one or two fights, doesn't really go well for him, and like his hands hurt after punching people, stuff like that. He is very smart and he's great at commanding a room. Kind of like how we see when we meet him in John Wick, the way he talks, and Jonathan, you can tell he's an intelligent guy. That's what we see in this particular show. He can bring people together because the Continental is something you're not supposed to mess with. And he's able to talk to various people in various places and get them to come together to try to take down the person in charge of the Continental, whatever Mel Gibson's character's name is. There is some slight gun fu that we've seen in John Wick presented in this, but it's not a lot of that type of action. There is an action set piece in episode 3, which is cool. It's a lot of different fighting, a lot of different shootouts that happen. There's some weird characters in this particular show, which is good. And it's a nice spinoff with a different type of feel. So if you enjoy John Wick, check out The Continental. It's pretty cool. Okay, this might be cheating because I'm picking 2 movies. It's a part of a series. It's called The Wandering Earth. It's a sci-fi action disaster series. The first movie came out in 2019, but I watched it this year before seeing the second movie in theaters. First movie is on Netflix. The second movie is on Peacock, and it's a prequel. I didn't know that going into it. But I guess you can watch them in any order because I enjoyed watching the first movie first before watching the prequel. Anyway, the premise of this particular series, the sun is dying, so people come together and they decide to build giant thrusters and put it on the Earth to move the planet out of orbit to sail to a new star system using Jupiter's gravity to like slingshot the Earth, essentially. Hence the name Project Wandering Earth. The first movie, we focus on a son. His dad is an astronaut and he went on tour on this space station. Like they have to go up there for like 15 to 20 years and do their tour before they can come back home. So when we come to present day in the first movie, the father is on the space station. It's his last day. He's so happy to go home. And of course, problems arise. And we spend time back and forth between Earth with the son, the grandpa, and the sister, and then on the space station with the dad as they're trying to figure out how to get the thrusters moving early. Because I think the Earth got too close to Jupiter's gravity at one point, and one of the thrusters are not working. So the people on Earth have to fix things, and the people in the space station are trying to hold things down as well. It's cool. It's more action, more disaster stuff happening in that particular movie. The second one, which I saw in theaters, we focus on the father. And we see the conflict of like all the governments before everyone came together. They weren't always on the same page. There were people choosing sides. People wanted to focus on AI and uploading your consciousness. Other people wanted to focus on the engines and the thrusters. And this is like a hero's journey for, I think his name was Lou, for the father. Like, he goes through a lot. We see him as a cadet, and we see all the sacrifices and stuff. We see him, meet his wife and have his kid, and he has to leave his family at some point to go to the space station. And it was just very emotional watching it. We spend time with other people who have lost things. Like this one guy loses his daughter and wants to upload her consciousness with the AI things. And then all the disasters start happening because the moon gets too close to the Earth. So then that's when all these, earthquakes and tidal wave stuff start happening. And I was like, yo, this is sick. It looks fantastic. It's really well done. But if you're looking for something to check out, watch both of these movies, Wandering Earth 1 and 2. Again, the first movie is on Netflix. The second one is on Peacock. It's really, really good. The Child is a Korean action-adventure mystery, although they do speak English a little bit. I don't know where it's playing, though. I don't know what streaming service it's on. If you know where it's at, let me know and tell the people. Anyway, we follow Marco. He's a boxer. His dad is Korean. His mom is Filipino. He's looking for money for his mom's surgery. So he's been looking for his dad. He knows his dad lives in Korea. One day, a lawyer comes in representing the dad. He's like, yo, your dad wants to see you, but he's in the hospital. You got to come with us. So Marco gets on the plane, goes to Korea. On the way there, this stranger comes up to him and he's like, do you know why you're going to Korea? You're going there to die. And he's like, he has a smile on his face, and this is weird. This is the star of the movie, the weird guy. I think they just call him Nobleman. He doesn't really have a name in this. And when Marco touches down in Korea, he gets in a car, and then all hell breaks loose. People are trying to kill Marco, and he has no idea why. He just wants to see his dad, say hello, get a little money. The mystery guy wants him dead. He finds out he has a brother. He don't know if the brother wants him dead or alive. Like, some lady he comes across wants him dead, and it's crazy. The mystery guy, the nobleman, is the guy that starts breaking things down for Marco and telling him different portions of the story, because we're seeing everything through Marco's point of view. So we have no idea what's going on. And I think that's what's so brilliant about this movie, because it doesn't tell you what's happening. You're experiencing it with Marco. Some cool action scenes. The nobleman can really handle himself in a fight. Like, the opening of the movie is us meeting the nobleman and watching him do his thing. This is what he does. He always has a suit. He's always joking. This actor has so much personality in this role. I just loved it. It's a show. Definitely check this out. It's a great movie. It's called The Child, Childe. If you know where it's streaming at, let people know, because it's fantastic. This show just makes me feel good. Primo is on Prime Video. It was created by Shea Serrano. Really cool guy. 8 episodes. They're like 25 minutes each. It reminds me of like a 90s sitcom that'd be on TGIF. You don't know what that is? Look it up. But it's not the typical family where it's a couple and they have some kids and, you follow them around doing everyday things. This time we follow Rafa. He's a teenager living in San Antonio with his mom, and she gets help raising him with his 5 uncles. And that's what makes this show so special. The uncles are all so different and weird, but they love Rafa and they love their sister, and they do their best to just help out with everyday life. If Rafa wants advice talking to a girl or something, so he'll go to different uncles, and you spend time with them and you can see how their personalities just differ. And it just makes me laugh, and it makes me feel good at the end of every episode. It's one of those shows where you put it on, the episode is quick, but by the end of it, you're like, that was pretty fun. I want to watch another one. Again, you'll have your own favorite uncle because their personalities are excellent. Rafa's a good kid. His mom, she's kind of stern. All the brothers are scared of her. When she puts her foot down, they listen. If she tells them to back off, they back off. But it's an enjoyable series, and I'm looking forward to a season 2. If you're looking for something chill to watch that'll put a smile on your face, make you laugh out loud, something for family time, this is definitely a show. It's called Primo. It's on Prime Video. Check it out. This show is quirky. It's a comedy drama. It's called Mrs. Davis. It's on Peacock. 8 episodes. They're a little over 50 minutes each. The opening is crazy. The opening scene, I was like, what am I watching? It was all violent and stuff, but that's not what kind of show it is. It's more comedy, like I said. Mrs. Davis is an AI that has access to everyone. I believe she's an app, and she prevents war and famine, and she just makes everything better somehow. Simone is a nun, and she's the main character. She refuses to talk with Mrs. Davis. Like, every time somebody might come around her and they'd be like, oh, Mrs. Davis wants to talk to you. She's like, nope, I'm not doing it. And she keeps avoiding her, but Mrs. Davis keeps doing things affecting Simone's life, and then gets to a point where Simone's like, okay, I'll talk to a proxy. And a proxy is anyone who puts on the headset and just starts speaking as their Mrs. Davis, and they address Simone. So she goes and talks to this proxy, and Mrs. Davis is like, I want you to find the Holy Grail and destroy it. And at first, Simone is like, what? Is the Holy Grail even real? And she decides to do it. So with each episode, we see her come across like an ex-boyfriend, and we get flashbacks of how they met, and we get flashbacks of how Simone ended up becoming a nun, the things that happened with her mother and father, and how she met this guy named Jay, aka Jesus, and she married him. So we get a lot of stuff in the show. It's, like I said, it's very quirky, but it's enjoyable. Like, I had a good time watching it. It's a fun, it's a different type of show. I thought it was going to be more action heavy, but it's not, and that's fine. But Simone is a cool character. Wiley, her ex-boyfriend, is cool. Even Jesus is cool, although he's very mysterious because it's Jesus. It's different. If you're looking for something different, check it out on Peacock. It's called Mrs. Davis. I liked it. This is not going to be on anyone's list, but I recommended this because I like Jackie Chan. I really enjoy Jackie Chan, and hopefully you'll watch this and maybe want to go back and check out his catalog. The movie is called Ride On. It's in Mandarin and it stars Jackie Chan. You can rent it on Prime Video or Apple TV. He plays this stuntman, and the only real possession he has is his son, a stunt horse named Red Hair. Yes, a stunt horse. The horse is incredible. Red Hair is incredible. To make ends meet, Jackie has the horse like just performing, like taking pictures with people and doing little tricks like that. The horse really listens to Jackie. But the horse may be up for auction to pay off his debts, and he doesn't know how to handle those things, so he reaches out to his estranged daughter, who he hasn't spoken to in a while, and her boyfriend, who happens to be a lawyer, for help. They decide to help, to figure out what's going on, and the horse kind of brings them together as a family because Jackie is like, yo, this is your brother, Red Hair. Say hi to your sister. And the horse are like, speak or bow, and then he's trying to teach her how to communicate with him. But something happens and it's recorded, and they become like this overnight media sensation, and they start getting work again. So Jackie is back in his element as a stuntman, mainly because of Red Hair. Everybody wants Red Hair to be in their movies, but he's working and he's like feeling great. And his daughter is there as well to see him do his work. But it gets a little dangerous because like it starts showing that, CGI is involved and, in making movies now. And it's not really like mainly a stunt person doing the real dangerous things. So she's trying to talk him out of doing stuff. She's worried about Red Hair, and it becomes like emotional. At one point in the movie, she's watching like all his stunts, and it's just old Jackie Chan footage of his previous movies and all the stunts he has done. And it's like, when I was watching it, I was like, man, that man was doing everything himself, just hurting himself so we can be entertained. And it made me appreciate his work even more. So that's why I'm recommending it. Ride On. Hopefully you check it out, and then you just go back and watch some old Jackie movies. I bet you didn't expect this to be on the list. When Evil Lurks. Yes, a horror movie is on my list of things you should check out. It's a supernatural, psychological horror. It's probably on Shudder or like AMC Plus. It takes place in Argentina. It's in Spanish, so there are subtitles. But two brothers discover a body, and then they go to this shack to speak to the woman, to ask her about the body. She has two sons. One son is a rotten, means he's possessed by an unborn demon. So he looks big and bloated. He's bedridden. He stinks. And it freaks the brothers out. They're like, we need somebody to help with this. So they go to the police. The police is like, nope, that's not our problem. We're not doing it. And they find this farmer who helps them. He's like, yo, we can kill it. And they're like, no, you can't kill it because there's like rules to dealing with a rotten. Like you can't shoot it with a gun, or it'll just mess with you some more. So they decide to move it out of the town. And while they're doing that, he falls off the truck and they can't find him. So they're like, all right, whatever. It's cool. He's out the town. We're all good. And then that's when all the weird stuff starts happening. Like the farmer's goat gets possessed and it starts talking to the wife. And then like all this stuff just start happening. And the brothers are like, we need to get out of here. We need to get our families. We need to get out of here. So one brother goes to get the mom. The other brother has an ex-wife with kids. He goes there. And I was like, this is crazy. Like the demon shows up there, and I was locked in from there. Like just everything that was happening. I was like, I like this movie. This is a horror movie that I really enjoy. Eventually, like the brothers run into some lady who can help deal with the demon, and they try to come together to take the demon out before, he's born. But this is something you should definitely check out, especially if you're into horror. And I'm not really into horror, but I was locked in with this one. When Evil Lurks, check it out. This show is incredible. Blue Eye Samurai. It's an anime. I think you'll like it even if you're not really into anime. It's a Netflix show, 8 episodes. They're like 50 minutes each. The longest one is over an hour. It's a revenge story with a twist. Japan closed its borders so nobody can get in, but there are 4 white men that are there, and they have a kid named Mizu, who's a samurai, happens to be a woman with blue eyes. And blue eyes means you're tainted or mixed. So she doesn't know who her father is. She's looking for these 4 white men to kill him. Anyway, she goes around trying to get information. They don't know that she's a woman, for one. And 2, she wears these glasses so, people can't see her eyes. But when people do see them, they're like, oh, like, I don't know if I want to mess with you. We come across all these different characters. A lot of them are important and you care about them. You have Tegan. He's another samurai and he becomes like her rival after fighting her early on in the show. And again, doesn't know that she's a woman and he loses, but he tries to track her down to have a rematch. And at times he has to save her life. She has to save his life. I don't want to say they're friends, but it's like a respect factor that they have for one another. You have Ringo. He becomes her travel companion. He's like a handless cook, but he's very helpful and always tries to get her to do the right thing, even though she's just hell-bent on getting revenge. We come across this princess who at first you're just like, oh, it's just a regular princess. But she goes through some stuff, and at some point in the show, she stands up for herself and decides to do something different than being just a little princess. It's a cool show. It's very violent. It's very beautiful. Like the first episode is so much action, and you're like, oh, we're in for a ride. And it's very cool. Check it out. Again, even if you're not an anime fan, check this show out. It's one of my favorites, Blue Eye Samurai. If you saw it, just let people know about it. So those are my recommendations. I hope you get a chance to check them out. Let me know what you thought about it. You can come back to this video and leave a comment. You can check out the full reviews of the things I recommended. Just let me know. If you have something you want me to check out, put it in the comments. I'll put it on my list because it's a very long list. But thank you again for a great year on this channel. Have a great holiday. I have some other things I'm working on in terms of reviews that just came out, but I don't want to rush it out. So like Maestro, Aquaman, The Iron Claw, I watched those movies. I'm going to review them, but I'll probably post them in January sometime. But thank you again. Keep being great. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.